Oh my goodness. What a great day. Hey, it's Fun Friday on Rhythm and Resilience. Hard to believe we're on day 10, Eleanor. Does that sound right? 10? All right, way to go. I have to tell you, we've been talking back and forth with Luke Wade, who was on last Friday and gave us a great idea about doing bingo. So we're going to be doing bingo for our community here. We're setting all the dates up. So just FYI, for some of you that have not been on before, it looks like most people have been on before. We started this Rhythm and Resilience series as I was just listening to the nudge. Hopefully you're all learning to dial into that nudge inside your soul that says, take this street, or you know what, don't get on that, or read this book, or listen to this song. Last week I went for a walk, and I live in this great area, and there's two parks, really about a total round trip about 3 miles, and I decided to take a different route. What was funny about taking a different route is that I went down this other street that I'd never been down, and guess what? I ran into one of my coaches from college. How crazy is that? And I'm like, hey, Coach Adams. And she's like, hey, what are you doing on my street? And I'm like, my spirit just led me here. So we want to listen to those nudges. And the nudge of rhythm and resilience came about because I was trying to find my own rhythm because I was struggling. And I feel like I'm starting to come out of that struggle now, which is great as I continue to move forward. And so in doing the rhythm and resilience, I reached out to my friends and said, hey, would you participate? So Monday, Motivational Monday, Tuesday, Total Health Tuesday, Wednesday, Wisdom, Thursday, Talk Story Thursday. And in Hawaii, which will be important to this story, they call it Ho'oponopono, which is talk story. Let's talk with our family to get the grumblings out so we can heal for generations. So that's why we call it Talk Story, in case you want to know, which once again ties into our guest today. And then Fun Fridays. I want to tell you, I struggle to have fun in my life. I know that's hard to believe, but it's just not something that was really a focus when I was a kid. And as the universe puts people in my life, Crystal, my partner, her license plate said Just Play when we met a couple decades ago. And so it's really, how do we have more fun? And so if you want to have fun, you got to try to hang out with Crystal because she knows how to have fun. Right, Sonia?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely.
So Crystal's really Sonia's first favorite. I'm her second favorite, which is okay with me. So I reached out to Sonia. I call her Little Sonia. Sonia, I've known you for 20 years, hard to believe. And Sonia Choquette-Tully is a 4th generation intuitive teacher and guide, and the daughter of the renowned spiritual teacher, Sonia Choquette. She's taught intuition worldwide and has worked on as an intuitive teacher for more than a decade. She's the author of the best-selling book from Hay House, You Are Amazing. And hey, you are amazing. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Michelle. It is such a pleasure. I love being in and around your energy, all of it. I'm just thrilled.
Well, it's great to see you. We do go back 20 years, and that's easily over almost 2/3 of your life. And it's been such a joy. We actually met because of I was in Hawaii, and met your mom there at something called Translucent You. And fast forward, here we are 20 years later and great friends, and we've traveled the world together. And I've not traveled near as much as you've traveled. I think you're I think you're probably the most well-traveled 30-plus-year-old I know.
Oh, really? Yeah. I love traveling. It's one of my favorite ways exactly to engage in play and trust my intuition and explore the world, just challenge my own perception. So I definitely do love traveling, but I love traveling with you, especially, and Crystal.
Well, I love because you cook, and then you humble me and play cards, or we go for some great walks, and we just have had some wonderful trips. So what does the word intuition mean? Because some people kind of get their panties in a wad about that.
So I would say that intuition in the most simple way is the act of deep listening. A lot of times intuition is the place of being able to listen to our soul, getting underneath the noise of our head, of our intellect that's trying to protect us in order to be able to receive. So intuition is innate. It's the place of the call is coming from inside the house, is like I say. And it's a way of just sort of training ourselves to pay attention and listen and trust that.
I've never heard it that way before.
Yeah, that's how I think about it. It's just listening, and it's a practice. Our worlds right now are so busy. There are things that are constantly competing for our attention. And not only that, just in America, we really pride ourselves on being productive. And that productivity doesn't give us a space to really stop and pause and tune in. And one way that I even recognize that, right now I'm working on a group course of intuition, all of it. So, and I was sitting, worked all day, got up, meditated, did my practice, And then I was at the end of my day, I got in the bathtub and I started working on this. Yale offers all these free courses, and there was one on happiness. And I'm a love learning. And I'm like in the bathtub, watching the video modules, being productive. And I was like, Sonia, like, hold on, just slow down. So really having to try and find those moments and just make it a practice to tune back in like you did with your walk. It's a great way of listening.
Well, Sonia, I'm thinking here. So first of all, I think you've been our youngest guest, just so you know, because, you tend to surround yourself around people that are about your age. So how is your generation navigating COVID-19 versus a generation that's maybe, my age or your mom's age?
I would say the biggest thing that I have seen talking to my friends, my clients, and just connecting with people is, there's this real moment, I think, of really not only looking inwards, but thinking about what is important for the future. We're in this place of because I graduated in 2010. This is the second once in a lifetime thing that has happened in my lifetime. And I would say that a lot of my friends and peers are trying to use this to get a lot more intentional, around tuning back into themselves, but also trying, I think, help heal the world in terms of different, economic gaps or spiritual practices or accessibility. And so I find that a lot of my friends are really fired up in trying to help to create change so that what we do going forward isn't the same thing again and again.
I love that. It gives me hope. I just actually have a chill going up my arm. And for me, that's when I know the Holy Spirit speaking, is I feel these chills. So when you say by practice, what do you mean by that? And, like I said, fourth generation, that's a little bit of pressure, but also kind of, your mom's kind of a big deal. By the way, your mom's going to be on the show here sometime soon. I can't remember when, but it's in the next 2 weeks. So, your mom's all over the world.
Yeah, I feel very blessed to have come from a really long lineage of intuitives. I'm very much of the belief that everyone is intuitive. It's not something that's special. It's not something that's different. I just got raised in a household where I was taught to trust myself, trust my vibes, trust those subtle impulses as something that was not only really valuable, but a connection to my authentic self. So, having grown up in that, I feel like I got to grow up in this little incubator where we talked about our vibe, we talked about our guides, we talked about our intuition. And, it's also interesting because my sister also does this work. And I feel like it's like a family soul mission to normalize having a connection with your spirit. And, the thing I think about spirituality, no matter if you're the Dalai Lama to any one person, a practice is just the place of starting to show up. No matter what, it's messy. I have my spiritual practice, but I also think it's really important to check back in with what actually resonates with you. We have a lot of different tools for a lot of different people, but if we don't check and see if that tool actually helps to connect me back to my deeper self, it can oftentimes have us feel like we're not doing it right. The thing about your own spiritual practice and the tuning into your own intuition is it's a way to connect you back to you. So what feels good in my body? What resonates with me? So, and for me, like my spiritual practice that I do every morning, I think of it as like tending to a garden, it's like the more you tend and like love and like talk to that garden, the more it grows. I wake up every morning and I start every morning with one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly. And just even taking a few deep breaths, even before I get out of bed, because it helps to anchor me into the unique vibration that is my own spirit before going out into the day and starting to interact with other people. Helps be like, okay, this is my baseline of home. Then I always like to meditate. For me, sometimes guided meditations, but again, for me, like just listening. That's how I think of meditation. Breathing, listening. Like today, one of the things that I focused on was the birds chirping. Like that was my meditation. And then sometimes I like to study. So maybe I'll study some esoteric stuff or journal, or just ways, or even just tuning back into my body, stretching, putting on some music, getting into my physical self. So that's my personal spiritual practice. I anchor in, and it can only sometimes just take like a few minutes, but it makes a huge difference. Even if you just put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, this is my beating heart, this is my spirit, it will change how you move throughout the day.
You know what? You're pretty wise. You know, we've not actually got to see each other in person since your sister's wedding in Morocco last year. I want to tell you, I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
what a lovely human being you're growing into.
Oh, I just adore you. I adore you. You have been so fundamental in just being just a really important person in my life and helping to shape me to be the person that I am. You and Crystal. I feel like just like as family members and just the most loving, supportive, wonderful people in the world. Like I am so grateful. So thank you.
Well, it is fun to chat. Sorry, you guys are all in our conversation today, but feel free to join. So I'm thinking about COVID-19, and I'm thinking about for you, how has your life changed? You know, you like to travel. You're kind of grounded right now.
Yeah. So I am a mover and a shaker. Like I am usually not in one place for more than a few weeks. And it's something that I love. And so now all of a sudden I've been forced to be really still. And it's been nice because I'm recognizing how beautiful simplicity is, you know, like just in having that same predictability that I think that sometimes can, I think in America, sometimes we really sort of look at novelty of like these new experiences, and just having this place of like getting deepening and getting like quiet and recognizing that simple is awesome. Like I have like a routine. I like go to bed at 11. I'm up at 7. I got my thing. I talk to my girlfriends. I have my, you know, my walk in the afternoon, and that I'm happy with that. Yeah. So I also, you know, I feel like it's been great cooking like every day for a month. Oh my God, love it. Sonia.
Yeah. I'm not sure the whole 20 years I've known you that you've ever been on the ground for 30 days.
No, it's been
ever. I mean, we're talking, you've been going, I mean, since you were a little girl, so often. So it's good to hear that you're really, enjoying the time. One of my pearls has been focus on what you can, not you can't.
I love that. And you know, it's interesting with stillness, you know, it's like, that's where we can get to like deepening, you know, it's like deepening all of the different parts. So I feel like it's just helping to deepen within myself. So I'm loving it. I'm like, I didn't know how great it was to be in one place. I'm like, this is awesome.
What a gift. And you're actually in one of the hot spots, aren't you, in New Orleans?
Yes, I am in New Orleans. And
tell me,
go ahead.
Tell me what that feels like, is, you know, just in general, because, you know, a lot of us on this call are in Kansas City. I think we have somebody from Minneapolis as well. But when you know, we're not in a hot spot. We're not in a hot spot. So tell me what that feels like.
You know, I would say, it's strange because New Orleans is such a warm city. It's so inviting. It's so intimate. Like when I first, like even just a quick story, when I first moved here, I moved here a year ago. I got into a cab on my way to meet some friends at a restaurant. And I was chatting with the cab driver, and I was telling her, I'd never been to a crawfish boil. And, you know, we were talking about our weekends and what we were doing. And she was like, I'm grilling crab and having a crawfish boil. You are welcome to come. And very genuinely was like, here's my number. Come to my backyard barbecue. Bring your friends. So that's been different because it's been, there's not that same sort of connection. But New Orleans is a very resilient city. You know, there is an indomitable spirit to it, especially having them gone through Katrina and things like that. There is this fire of like, nothing is going to put out our spark. And we will get through this, and we will get through this together as a community. And that's a really cool thing to experience. Having lived in a lot of other places, there's a certain connectivity that is very unique to New Orleans, especially the people who've lived here for a long time. It's like, we are here, we love it. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. But also at this point, I feel like almost normalized. I feel like, has this sort of normalized for you in one way or another?
It's starting with probably this week, when you're all of a sudden you're 30 days into it and you're like, okay, what's my next step? And, you've been in Kansas City, your Aunt Cookie lives in Kansas City. So, there's no city like Kansas City, but you can have New Orleans be your second. I do want to see kind of, what do you do for fun right now? Because we're on Fun Friday. And how can people have more fun being home? And the other thing too, I want to remind our listeners, you've got a jewel right here. So if you have some great questions, this is a day you do not want to let that question stay in your soul. If you want to keep it private, just send it to me as well. Because you're talking to a major intuitive here right now that could help guide you, because I love to guide. All right. Fun. How can people have fun?
Oh my gosh. I have so many different ways of having fun. I feel like, first of all, a big thing that I've been doing with my, two things. I've been doing themed Zoom calls with my friends, which have been really, really fun. One thing that we did last week was we did a theme a few weeks ago with one of my girlfriends. We had the same cocktail, which was like a Bermuda 100, which was very fun. And then we did like a 60s pool themed. And then we made up a game where we first dressed in like our 60s garb, and then we made up a game. And it was sort of like this, the game was basically it was almost like an improv game. You would just make up a question or have somebody do something. Like, one of them was make a sales pitch for a TV show. And like, you each have 1 minute to think about it and then go. So that was really fun. Last weekend, we did I did a big group call with a bunch of my friends, and we did a villains theme. So everybody dressed up like a villain and had to give like a 1 to 2 minute backstory of what's going on. My boyfriend and I have been doing themed dinners. So 2 weeks ago, we did pizza. And then last weekend, I made like a lasagna. We like put on like cheesy Italian music. We were joking that we were in a restaurant and feeding 100 people out of Italy. So really in this place of like using your imagination, other places for me too, like music is so good for our spirit. It helps to move us. It helps to engage. So like, I'm a really big fan too of like singing and dancing. There's a really wonderful, choreographer. His name is Ryan Huffington. He does all throughout the week. He has a 1 hour long dance class. Super easy, fun, like very heart-based. And a lot of times too, I'll do a Zoom room with a bunch of my girlfriends and we all dance together watching him. And it's so fun. Like, we have so much fun. So there are a lot of ways that we can have fun within our parameters, and ways just being able to get creative, it's like, and it's important. Like, we need that balance right now more than anything. It's like, not too much productivity. Like, Sonia, put down your phone in the bathtub trying to learn the lesson, like blow some bubbles.
There's a reason I picked you for Fun Friday, because I know you know how to have fun. And by the way, what was the name of the dance class guy?
Oh, Ryan Huffington. I'll send you, I'll also, he's great. It's like free, usually around noon Central Time, noon to 1. Would highly, highly, highly recommend. Definitely.
Well, I think Eleanor's on it, right, Eleanor? You said Ryan with an R, not Brian, right?
Ryan.
So
Huffington, I believe. Huffington.
Well, I have no beat or rhythm. So I might need to practice. No one will be home with me, right?
Oh, you don't even need, he has like the best dance moves. Like, one of them is pretend that you have a showgirl cape. So you like walk around your house, like having the showgirl cape, and he'll like tell you to grab a prop or a microphone. So it's really just about having fun, expressing yourself, as opposed to like tight choreography.
Oh my gosh. You know what I love about today is I'm not sure I've been this happy in a while, even probably pre-COVID, is I have all these memories of you as a little girl and of all the things we've done with your family. How's it been having your family? Your mom's in London.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
your sister's in London. Your mom told me last week she's having a 5-star experience in lockdown.
Yeah, it's been interesting because having, I'm a very tight knit family. Like we are very close. And so at the very beginning, it was really scary to have the borders be closed just internally to feel like, oh my gosh, I can't see my family. Um, now that it's sort of like, okay, it'll all relax, but overall it's been like, thank God for FaceTime. We talk all the time, but honestly, it comes and goes. Like yesterday, I was super missing my family and feeling really sad. But it was also a place of where I could lean into my own communities, lean into my partnership of like asking for support. Also like giving a little cry, had a little cry in bed and like felt a lot better and then like went for a walk. So, and then also just like reaching out where they're like, my mom and sister are like, yes, totally. This is hard, but we'll get through it. So that's how it's been. I think for me too, my friends and I joke that we have A days and B days. Like some days you have an A day, some days you have a B day. Yesterday was a B day for me. Today, I'm back on my A game.
Well, and you can have A and B in the same day.
Totally. I feel like yesterday for most of the day was my B day. And then I got to talk to my mom and had a really long walk with my best friend. And we just talked about so many different things and that like boosted my spirit. My boyfriend and I hung out we have like a little pool, had some nice like outdoor time. That was really good for my spirit. So it changed my mood where I was like, all right, great. And just a reminder, like today I have to be super gentle with myself, like very, very gentle with myself. Like I can put the computer down and walk away from work and not have it be a thing. So yes, I'm with you 1,000,000%.
Well, I love what you said, my spirit kind of, and I think that's what I want everybody to think about is how do you dial into your spirit, whether it's music, whether it's phoning a friend, whether it's putting your hand on your heart and the other hand on your belly and taking a big breath. For me, I love the hot baths. I love water, and that's my spirit talks to me a lot in the shower. It just, to be honest, won't shut up in the shower. So I sometimes have to have a notepad because it's just downloading. And so think about what works for you in this time to really connect deeper. And I also love you said that you connect deeper into the essence of who we really are. So Sonia, your work had you at home. I mean, you traveled, did events, but how has it shifted since you were already doing readings at home and things like that?
Well, two things that I think have really shifted right now. I'm working on a second book for myself. So I've really gotten to like dive into writing. Second of all, after a while of just sort of the same thing, I started my own little like Facebook community of a place to help try and give people a place to be able to talk and connect around either spirituality and getting support, and also a place where we can like go and have good vibes on our news feed in one way or another. Another thing that I've been doing is I've done a few different free workshops, which has been really great to share these tools that are so important to me to try and help other people. And so that's been something that's different because I've usually teach with my mom and my sister. And so in this moment, I've kind of it's created this opportunity for me to do my own thing, which is exciting and interesting and challenging and scary, but really good. It's like doing any new thing. At first it's like, well, do I even know what I'm doing? And then like, I totally know what I'm doing. So it's been great. It's been overall really good. And also just being able to connect with people more deeply. I feel very grateful for that.
I love the saying, fake it till you become it. Fake it till you become it. If you're trying to build a tribe, you've got to start one person at a time, and you've got to really show up and be there for people. And what little things can you do? I'm going to remind you, this is a great time to ask a question today if you would like to. The other thing I was thinking about, I've been seeing some creative ways of way people are celebrating people and having fun. I actually was on a call this morning or something. I don't know. It's already, I was on a call this morning, and one guy said what they did is they've been having like water balloon fights outside with their kids, not fights, but what a great idea. I'm thinking, okay, give me some balloons. I could do that. I could do that one. I'm not a good dancer, but I could do a balloon fight. And the other one of my colleagues, Dr. Casey Baker and his wife, their daughter turned 10 during COVID.
Oh.
And they actually moved her out of her bedroom, and they did a new bedroom for her.
Oh,
And then they did a bedroom reveal. What a great idea.
love that. I love that. That's so cute. I saw somebody who did something really cute where they had their anniversary and their kids pretended like they were at a restaurant, and like one of them like dressed up like a chef and the other one was like the waitress and took down the order and did the whole thing. And so I love people's creativity. Honestly, it blows my mind. Makes me happy.
You know, a lot of people, I'm going to take it serious for just a minute. A lot of people are wondering what's next. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the headlines aren't so pretty these days, and people are being shifted. And my ministry used to call that a 2x4, right? But we've all gotten a 2x4, not all, but several of us have gotten a 2x4. So people have had their life vision one way, but yet it's shifting another way. What's your advice? How do they help create what's next? Or, you know, I know and I've been fully transparent about this. I know I'm creating what's next for me. I think my spirit was ready for a shift. And I say, God, it's a really shame I had to create COVID so my body would shift. I'm just kidding. That's not the case. But I'm definitely feeling a shift in my own personal and professional journeys. But give me some guidance. Give them some guidance.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I two things. It's hard to really imagine like what's next because it's changing from day to day. But at the same time, in that same place of being able to like tune into our intuition and being able to really take this moment of pause, and even just in our places of being able to self-reflect, or what are the things that are actually in alignment with my deeper self and what's not. And a really good way to check in with that is like, how does that feel in my body? You know, like how does that feel in my physical body? In terms right now, we're undergoing a massive restructuring, even in terms of what our cities look like, what community can look like, what being at work can look like. So in the same place, we can activate our own imagination to be like, what do I want my life to look like or feel like? Where can I create more space? What are the things that are actually, in alignment with my deeper self? We can use the power of our imagination in order to create. Now, so at the same time of thinking of like, what is the next thing that you want to create or contribute, or what is something that matters to you that you want to shift? You know, a lot of times I think that it can feel so big that it's hard to recognize that you have an impact and you have power. And even in this moment, there's a lot of places of where we can feel really powerless, but just even taking it day by day, step by step, and even just starting to check back in with ourselves so that we can make decisions that are supportive to us. You know, like for example, my best friend lives out in Seattle, and for a really long time, she's worked at a nonprofit, but it hasn't been something that she's really loved. You know, she loves being part of the community and things like that. But actually in this moment, she's deciding that she's going to move back to Anacortes, which is where she's originally from, and work on her art and take a moment and change careers. And so, you know, we can make changes and really find ways that it's as a new frontier. You know, we get to really co-create a new world and a new structure. So what's important to you?
And I would say, I'm going to add, and first of all, you got a lot of wisdom. I am, once again, I'm so stinking proud of you. I would say, and assume it's going to be better.
Yeah.
Make the assumption that it is going to be better, because if you look back, I know for me, when I look back over the drama and trauma that's happened in my life, it's far better than anything could have ever imagined so far. And I'm counting on the next wave of my life, whether I've got 30 days to live, 3 minutes to live, or 30 years to live, it's going to be better than the last 30. And I think it's a decision, it's a choice we make to decide today, I'm going to take steps to where God has intended me to be.
Amen. Like, amen. You know, I really feel that a lot of times we can imagine, you know, it's sort of like like, first of all, our imagination gets hijacked all the time. There's a really great quote by Seneca the Younger, where it's like, it's almost like the idea that our imagination, usually how we use our imagination is worst case scenario. It gets hijacked. That's where we go. And two, a lot of times we are trained to not think of being open to expectation as something that can be good, but we can also just pause and recognize, instead of filling in the story of what's next and how it's going to be, as a way to try and be in control. And first of all, being gentle with ourselves, because it's a lot, it's psychically a lot, but like you're saying, trusting our higher selves, trusting that we can expect good things and that they come, and even noticing that, because like you're saying, happens all the time. There's so many times when my imagination's gotten hijacked. I'm like, of course, this is how it's going to be. And it's nothing ever like that, ever. Always better.
I think that's going to be the quote of the show. Don't let your imagination get hijacked.
It's true. We do.
What do you think? What do you think, Eleanor? Don't let your imagination get hijacked. Woo!
Yeah. And also just pay attention. For me, I have to make a real vigilant practice of, what is it that I'm feeding my mind? What is it that I'm looking at, listening to, telling myself, conversations that I'm having? It doesn't mean that I have to police myself. But for example, I'm very mindful with my news consumption. I check in, but I don't binge it, because that hijacks my imagination, fries my nervous system, and it's too much. We're not built for that. We're not built for that. So it's like, and like I was saying right now, finding places where we can not be productive, like reading a fun book or doing other things to water our imagination, because that is our engine of creation.
What's the name of your next book?
I don't know.
That might be it. I think I heard it. Watering your imagination is maybe even a chapter, just so you know.
Yeah. I love it. I feel like I know. Actually, you're very intuitive, because right now I was writing this morning and I was like, I need to come up with my book cover and like start to really vision it. And so I'm like, what am I going to name it? What is it going to look like? So maybe that'll be my fun, creative experiment this weekend.
Well, I'd love that, to see that for you. So what do you think, first of all, how can people tap into what you're doing? I mean, some of us are a little over 30, but how could we tap into your wisdom and your energy?
Well, all sorts of different things. First of all, I have, follow me on Instagram. I have tons of tools, tips, things that I share every single day, really grounded things. My big thing is grounded spirituality. So we have a lot of information. How can I give you tools to have a felt experience? So I have that. I have a YouTube channel, Sonia Choquette-Tully. Usually I do an intuitive tip of the week and send out a newsletter of really grounded tools that you can use this week right now. And then I feel like other things, I do like mentoring, where I help people really tune back into their own intuition of really being able to live from the inside out and trusting yourself. But I feel like all of those are great ways to get in touch with me. Go to my website. I feel like I'm doing a free workshop tomorrow over on how to cultivate joy, how to like connect with our guides, cultivate joy, listen to our intuition. And so right now I'm in the place of like trying to just give all the tools to help support because you got this. You're super intuitive. You know who it is that you are. We just have to remember.
Yeah, we had Frank Ferrante on the show last week, and I was coming clean with everybody. Unintentionally, we had 3 Hoffman grads in a row. Isn't that crazy?
I love Hoffman. I'm a Hoffman grad. I love it. One of my favorite things ever.
So have you been doing the quad checks at all in the moring? Have you heard about the quad checks? They're doing it on Instagram. So here's another tool. Eleanor, I think Crystal talked about it last week. Where you can do a quad check, and you don't have to be Hoffman grad, so you can tune in. And so I think that's another great tool. Here's what I want to say to you. If you are not taking advantage of this shift right now, shame on you. Obviously, you're showing up here, okay? But you can't just do it this 1 hour of the day. There's, like you said, Yale's offering free classes, Harvard's offering free classes. I was talking to one of my young men. I love young people. I just love, because people just poured into me as a young person, and he's a sophomore at K-State. We won't hold that against him. Michelle, will we? Rock, chalk, Jayhawk, right, Michelle? Yeah. I got it. I got a little memory. And I said to him, well, have you heard about the online school where you could, and this has been going on, they've been doing this for a long time. I don't know how long it is, but at least 3 years. And where you could pay X amount of dollars, let's say hypothetically $8,000, you take as many hours as you want. You can even get a master's if you can figure out for like a year. And I said, have you thought about something like that? He goes, no, but what a great idea. You know, as we're in this time of transition to something better than what is right now, because if we're all really honest with ourselves, life wasn't working. I mean, it was working okay, but it wasn't phenomenal, where we would look at each other soul to soul and go, hey, you're my sister, you're my brother. How can we make the planet better? How can we help you get to where you're trying to go? And you know, that separation. So anyhow, so many great ideas.
Yeah. And I, you know, just in that same point, you know, as human beings, we like to conserve our energy. So until we're really forced to do something different, usually this is when people come to me, is when they're like, my life has fallen apart and everything's not working, and now I'm actually ready to do something different. You know, it's sort of that same thing, like planetarily. And so it's like you were saying, I love that. What are things that interest you? I feel like, what feeds your spirit? What gets you excited? Whether it's, you know, interpersonal work and like developing, or thinking about like your relationships, communication, cooking, anything, of just the more that you do things that you love, the more that you raise your vibration, the more that you put out good vibes in the world, the more that you affect the whole. Like, we all affect the whole. How you show up, it's between you and you, but it's also between you and the people around you. And I think the big thing is just also being real. You know, it doesn't have to be always so much pressure or positivity, but just of like, what's real, because that's important and resonates and helps to be a good leader for other people.
Or there's that saying, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Right. And we're all in this together. And so, and one of my visualizations and thoughts is with this COVID-19 is, you know, it doesn't want any part of this. You know, it's not that I don't want part of it. It doesn't want any part of this, because it's not going to win. Don't even take me on, because I'm going to take you out. So I think we all have to have that mentality, is you're not touching this. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to do the right prayers, the right thoughts, the right movement, the right supplements, you know, etc. So we're going to do this, you guys. Even think about the energy of the people on the phone from 10 days ago to now. We are getting stronger and more resilient together. How cool is that? So this is a great time for you to ask your questions to Sonia. If you don't have questions, start sending her love. You know how we like to wrap this show up. Sonia, what's some more gifts you've gotten from quarantine life?
I've gotten a lot of different gifts from quarantine life. I feel like, first of all, a routine. Love that. Tracking it with my simplicity. And also just, you know, in moments like this, it's gotten really clear on what are the things that actually matter to me. And what are the things that I really value on a core level, are the relationships that are really important to me. And I think that this place of just being in gratitude, like really in gratitude, even for things like my health, for my body, for my home, for all of it, and gratitude, you know, is our big thing of is a way that we connect to authentic happiness, you know, that, so added like gratitude, and also just recognizing the creativity of people. Like you were saying, your friends who's got this reveal. I mean, even just being on the internet, people are so resilient, so creative, and it's inspiring. You know, it's really inspiring to see how, when we have a shared goal and when we see each other what it is that we can do. I mean, even right now in terms of fighting COVID, there hasn't been cooperation on a global level like this ever. That's amazing. That's really amazing to recognize and be like, how can we be as one? So those are some of my favorite things that I have learned reading, hanging out, you know, just being quiet. It's like, this is a really special moment. When will you not have this type of pause? So having to practice enjoying it and recognizing it as a gift, I feel like is something that I've also just been loving.
We need to think of a good acronym for pause. Eleanor, let's work on that. What's a good acronym for pause? You know me, I'm a word nerd. So I think I know the answer to this, but I want you to share it. What's your medicine? What's your medicine that you share with the world?
I teach people that you can trust yourself. You can trust your deeper self, that you are intuitive and wise, and that you can really navigate from that place, and that you're also safe. You know, I think another thing that I really love to do, and one of the things is that like we can play. And what I mean by that is not have attachment necessarily so much to the outcome, and that's a healing thing. You know, our sense of play connects us to one another and is a really, really deep connector and is a healer. So in being able to trust ourselves, trust our deeper listening, trust our spontaneity, trust our joy, trust our spirit, trust each other's spirit I feel like that is what I'm here to teach and share. And also that it's like fun and normal, whatever that means. You know, having a connection with your deeper self is a gift that we all have. We just got to open the box, you know.
Trusting yourself, looking at your gifts. You know, speaking of a gift, this is going to be a kind of a goofy gift. Somebody sent me a private question, and this is a great time to do this. Once again, you're not going to, well, you may have this opportunity again, but you're not going to have the opportunity again today. Sonia, somebody is, you know, they're getting quiet. And as they're getting quiet, they're feeling all the dissonance and anger and rage in their body. What's some ways to move through that?
Well, I feel like many different things. First of all, anger is boundaries. You know, anger is a place of where we need to have boundaries with ourselves. So first of all, not shaming our anger. It's important. It's an important facet of who it is that we are. Second of all, a good thing that I love to do is, first of all, do a body scan. Where is that anger living in your physicality? And feel it. And then even start to just, even in paying attention to it, even like that tool at the beginning, you said, hand on your heart, hand on your belly, getting into touch with your spirit, start to have a dialogue with it. What are you trying to tell me? What is something how are you trying to protect me? And instead of trying to fix it, change it, make it different, open it to a place of curiosity, because that anger will tell you something that you need. And as soon as you witness it, it will relax. Second of all, move that energy. You know, it's like, get a sweat going. Like for me, I was feeling really mad the other day about all sorts of different things. Did that. And it was like, first of all, the anger was really trying to protect me. I was like, okay. And I was like, what is it that you need? And I was like, we need to move. You've been stagnant. So I went for a long walk, put on some nice music. I like put on bass connector, which is like bass music, put it in my speaker of my bike, like the basket of my bike, and like biked as fast as I could to help to transmute that energy. And then coming to a place of stillness. So I feel like, don't shame yourself. It's okay. There's a lot of emotions going on, and anger, especially right now, is an important one to listen to, but we don't have to get hijacked by it.
There's that word hijacked again, gang. All right. Another private question that somebody sent to me. How do you respond to bad decisions you might have made when you thought you were trusting your gut?
Well, here's the thing. Be gentle with yourself. You know, be gentle with yourself. Like making a bad decision when you thought you were trusting your gut. So first of all, just being really, really gentle with yourself. Recognize that you're really trying your best and did the best that you had with the tools that you had at that moment. Second of all, who knows? Maybe on a soul level, you made that decision because there was a lesson in there that needed to happen that opened you up to a whole new experience that you wouldn't have had beforehand, you know? And third of all, in starting to trust our deeper intuition, you know, intuition, like I said, is listening. Second of all, it's not going to talk over you, and it's not going to give and should. It's not going to tell you what it is that you should do. It'll tell you, what's the next step, but it won't take away your personal power. You know, it's not going to make you special. It's not going to make you different. It's not going to give you a mandate. It'll tell you what is next and what's for your highest good. So check in with yourself, and also recognize that's okay. We're humans. I'm intuitive. I live as intuitive. I make mistakes all the time. It's part of being a human being. It doesn't mean that you're not connected. It just is a place of where can I practice deeper listening and compassion. Our biggest enemy of tuning into our intuition is letting our intellect play by saying it's good, bad, right, wrong. As soon as you say you're doing it wrong, it's like everything closes up. So, hey, great job for even trying. I mean, honestly, a lot of people don't even open up the door of curiosity or availability to even try to do something different. So, okay, be gentle with your sweet self.
Okay, so I'm giving you one last call. This is like the last beer call. It is Friday. I don't drink beer, but you know what I mean. This is your last call to either ask a question or to give some love, because we're to start to wrap this show up. Sonia, one more time, how can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Sonia Choquette-Tully. You can find me on YouTube at Sonia Choquette-Tully. You can go to my website, soniatully.com. I have a free workbook and I believe a free little mini course that you can use. I'm really big on trying to give you all the different tools that I have. You can also just email me. Let's say you have a question. You're like, I need guidance on this. My big thing is trying to serve and give y'all grounded tools that you need. So let me know. But those are some places that you can find me.
Great. And your class probably is on all those things where they can find about the class tomorrow.
Yeah, totally. It's free. It's an hour long class. You can, I'm going to record it. So if you aren't able to join, I will send it to you as well. So you can watch at your own leisure. You can either register for that on my website under the tab that says workshop. There's just a little sign up, or on, I think it's, bit.ly/spiritual toolkit joy, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
you can send it to us and we'll put it in the notes. Hopefully you guys are liking the recap that we're doing every day that you get, that has the quotes of the day and the little tools. I'm liking it, so hopefully you're liking it too. And I love a little system. So Eleanor and my guy Zach, thank you so much for taking care of the back end of everything that's going on. So I'm thinking of the quote today is water your imagination. Water your imagination. So I want to share some love with you that people are sharing from Liz. Thanks, Sonia, for sharing your wisdom. Miriam, you feel like an old soul. You are so wise, and I appreciate your wisdom. Gratitude can change everything, can change your attitude. Great topic. Thanks. Thank you, Sonia. I can't wait to check out your YouTube. Thanks for sharing your gift. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and guidance and fun with us. And Carolyn says she loves the recaps. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I needed this today. And Mark says, thank you, ladies. Have a great weekend. I hope you all are great and safe. And I'm going to share how you inspire me. Once again, I've known you since you were a little girl, a little peanut, not quite a peanut, but I love watching you come into your own. And I love how you have done your dance. Despite the drama and trauma, and people may hear, I know the back end story. I know behind the curtain, and I am so proud of you for you just staying true to you, and just to all of you, just keep watching, doing your best dance and listening, because Sonia, you've done it. Crystal and I are so stinking proud of you. We're glad to call you one of our own, and we can't wait till we can hug you in person.
Oh, I can't wait. Are you kidding me? I feel like, that grounding, nurturing. I mean, you guys are family. And thank you so much for inviting me to have this conversation with you. I just am you have been an inspiration and a leader for me of watching what it means to be an intentional, aware, connected leader in the world. And you and Crystal have been invaluable to shaping me to the person that I am today. And I am so, so grateful for that.
Well, I'm going to have to, I wanted to text Crystal and I said, you got to jump on because we did good. So,
give her a giant hug.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks for joining us today, day 10. We'll start day 11 on Wisdom Monday. And next week on Wisdom Monday will be Dr. Carolina. And Carolina is a psychiatrist, MD from Columbia. She'll be joining us from Columbia because she's stuck there with her family because they were on holiday when this all happened. She is a delightful human being. She's also a youngin in her late 30s. And I'm telling you, what's so fun is these names you're going to hear for the rest of your life. And she's one of those names that we'll see in Kansas City. By the way, I think we might have just secured this really cool guest. Let me look here real quick because you'll be the first to know.
I love a reveal.
Oh my gosh, here's a reveal. So our head of the sports commission, Kathy Nelson, has just agreed to be on our show to fill our last spot. Eleanor, we got our whatever date filled. And then I want to hear from you, and maybe just email me kind of what you think you want to see in May, because we're going to have another month of not quite like this, but something continue to deal, and kind of how I can support you with my community as I'm planning my May schedule right now, and maybe who you'd like to hear from if you want to continue this. So once again, Kathy Nelson, you guys heard it right here live. She just accepted my text to invite her on the show and talk about, I'm going to tee her up a little bit, talk about having to cancel the Big 12 in Kansas City. Ooh, and I was worried about furloughing my staff, and she had to, you know, and make a decision for that millions of dollars, which saved lives. So anyhow, remember, water your imagination. Don't water your fear. You know what? That's an old story. Water your imagination. What could your dreams be? What could it really turn out to be if this happened for our greatest good, which I believe it has happened. I know it's happened for my greatest good, and I'm sure it's happened for your greatest good too. All right. Blessings to all of you. Hey, happy weekend.
Yay. Do something fun.